My name is James London. I lived in the neighborhood approximately 2.5 years at this point. Just moved in here. I came from Majory, Ohio, and actually our realtor deterred us from coming here. He said, this is a bad move, and I just felt that it wasn't. I just felt, I'm looking around, I'm thinking, man, there's just quality of these homes here, and the price of them. I said, wow, that's crazy. So did you see, we moved here. We didn't listen to them. Our goals right now is to help get the crime controlled. That's the major problem that when we have our meetings, we do a little session of tell us your problems, tell us what you're doing. First thing that comes to your head, what your problems are, and most of it's crime. But information helps. I don't want to live near a drug dealer. I don't want to live near a baby raper. That's not me, and I won't do it. It won't happen beside me or any one of the neighborhoods that I live in. And my brother and sister neighborhoods. It's just not fair that we have to live like that. If they choose to live like that, go get a patch of woods in the country or something. Get away from us. Go somewhere where they want you. We don't need drug dealers, drug addicts, drunks, loiterers, robbers. We go on and on, right down the line.
And prostitutes.
Prostitutes. We don't want prostitutes. If you've been through the area up above here, within Brentwood, Laclede, Indianola, Parkview, you'll see that there's a lot of good quality homes up there, and they just gone. People just walked away, and it takes not long, maybe a month, and they're vandalized. The copper's gone. Then that's what the unit of the Idor Neighborhood Association has become a tool and a working machine to make sure everybody's watching each street.
Well, I'm a native Youngstowner, born and bred here. Tried to get away, but my heart's still attached. I write for the Simpson comic books, so I publish. I'm also a painter. I've done over 2,000 paintings to date and sold a good 1,800 myself. The world changed in this city and in the world, but my dad was of the generation where you got out of school, you went directly into the service. First girl that winked at you, you married her, and you got a job at Stanbaugh Thompson's until you had an opening in the mill or the railroad. And that's how it was here. And my dad and I, when I left the mill, it was because I got a promotion because I was David's boy, and I was a pretty decent worker. And I got a promotion to swing grinding. And swing grinding is it's lots of motions to get these little tiny microscopic burrs off of these airplane rings. If they're there, plane could blow up or something. It's really serious business. I went and I shook hands with a guy who was a swing grinder, and he says, "Did you feel that?" I said, "Feel what?" He said, "Did you feel my hand?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't feel yours." He said, "You got a girlfriend?" He said, "Go home and feel her." He says, and feel her up. I'm thinking, what's he talking about? And he goes, "There's going to come a time when you ain't going to be able to feel her with your fingertips." He said, "You're going to get paid a lot of money, good money." And he said, "But you got to trade off. Heard you want to be an artist." I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "What the guy was telling me, without telling me, was think about what you're about to do." And it was for real good money. Even back in the 70s, it was real good money. $15, $17 an hour in the 70s was like $50 today. You're talking a lot of loot. And for a kid, that's heady bread. I made a decision right then and there that I was leaving the mills. Well, this caused such a major rift between my dad and I. It was bad. It was bad. Because my dad would always say, "Who the hell do you think you are? You just wake up in the morning, you do whatever the hell you want. What makes you think you're so damn good that people are going to take the time to look at you and say, how are you so different that you're going to do this? And who do you think you are? You just walk right out there and blah, blah." And it got heavy physical, and I left the house early. I got out on my own early in life. But yeah, that was really, really tough. But I got my dad back, and he got his son back later on in his life. Okay, he took me out to a restaurant, and I'll never forget it. He said, "Christopher," he said, "give me your hand." I said, "Okay." I gave him my hand, and he says, "I bless you, I bless your house. I bless your marriage. I bless your career, your dreams, your goals. He says, everything that you ever wanted to do, it was always good. He said, son, I wanted to be a veterinarian. He said, but, you know, you go in the mill and one day you go walking around for the old timer to help you with your machine. And then you sit down and you buy yourself a cup of coffee because guess what? You're the old timer. It happens that fast. He said, I can't really do that now. I can't become a veterinarian. He says, but I was a good machinist. He said, but I have to say I'm sorry. He says, because you actually had the audacity to believe that you could become something different than your grandfather and I. And you really didn't mean anything negative to me about it. You weren't talking us down. You weren't looking down your nose at us. And I never believed that. And he says, but hey, I don't have paintings in the White House. He says, I don't have rock guys calling me, and that's probably a good thing. I don't like it. It's all noise to me. That's his generation, you know. But he says, but you know, it's a good thing. He says, and when I succeed now by watching you. He says, when you stand before the world, you represent me. And he said, and you know what? That's just as blue collar as anything I was doing. He said, I see you working hard. And he said, that's a good thing. He said, I'm proud of you. A couple years later, we lost my dad. But we made good time, you know. So I got my dad back. And it's kind of interesting because there was a big change in the generations in this steel town. There were some people that went into the mills, came out of the mills, old broken men, you know, honorable, but broken men. You know what I mean? So how many dreams hit those blast furnaces? You know what I mean? We don't have the blast furnaces anymore, but we do have the dreams. Now all we have to do is rip them out of the sky and make them real, and that requires focus.
While the future of Youngstown remains uncertain, one thing remains clear. Citizens, activists, and business people alike refuse to become marginalized and continue to strive to transform Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley into something new, something better.